Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program, fuckers. In this interview series, Archie interviews his father, who is he's just approaching retirement. He's 65 years old. He's just retired, and he's ran his own accountancy practice for the last 30 plus years. And we can ask Archie's dad for some financial advice. So let's sit down, meet the dad, and please enjoy this series. I'm Archie Luxury. Enjoy this program. Meet the dad, fuckers.
Okay, so the first question is, how do you get rich?
Well, I think to get rich, you have to work hard. Work hard, get ahead in your occupation so that you can achieve monetary success, and then use your surplus money to invest in a number of areas, diversifying your investments.
So there's no quick, easy way really, is there?
No easy way, no. You've got to work hard, work long hours, have a passion for what you're doing, and just keep going and going and going, just keep going for many years.
Now in your life there, you've also done very well at property investing.
Yeah.
I got a lot of American viewers here who the market has been very, very savage in recent years. Is it going to rebound, or what's the future there?
I think in America, the areas which are so bad are probably areas where industries have closed down, or things like that have happened. I don't think, and haven't researched it, but I'd say that the New York property market or the San Francisco property market has not gone down. It's only in Detroit, perhaps, where Ford or GMH have closed down, or it's a bit like in Queensland, like Bundaberg, Mackay, the regional areas where you have regional problems and property values go up and down, or in like outback Queensland where they're closed down, or because you don't need labour and the towns have shrunk. So that's what's happened in America.
So how about from an Australian perspective? Is property still the big wealth? If someone is now, say they're in their 20s, they've finished their degree at university, they're doing a reasonable job, you're saying it's in property you're going to become rich. You're going to become rich from building a property portfolio.
Well, nobody knows, but in my years, the last 30, 40 years, that's the way it was done. You bought your own house and you got some equity in there, reduced your debts, then you bought another property and maybe another property, and most have done well. One might have done not well, but on balance you came ahead, and it's just a question of time. Look at recently, the Sydney market has just moved astronomically up. Melbourne market has moved up. Brisbane is starting to move, but Gold Coast is still down. But with time, that will turn. Gold Coast should come back. Sydney might slow down, but so in Australia, possibly it's still the answer for the long term. And a lot of people maybe cannot afford property, younger people, because of jobs insecurity and whatever. But I still think it's probably a reasonable chance, but you still got to diversify into other areas too.
So in your wealth metrics there, you really think property is still a big, as far as Australia, the Australian economy is concerned? If you're a 25-year-old person and you've got a reasonable job, you've bought a home, should you be saving that money to buy the next investment property?
Yeah, in the capital cities, especially Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, yes.
We specialize here in pre-owned Rolex watches. Rolex watch is a very special timepiece, and we always do the servicing exactly as factory specifications. We buy a pre-owned piece and we put it into brand new condition. We have Rolex certified technicians working on that. We completely disassemble the piece. We adjust and polish and change every single part of the watch.
You have to have certified watchmakers that know what they're doing. If you have an expensive car, you're just not going to bring it to any mechanic that doesn't know what they're doing.
You spend $5,000, it's like if you put money in the safe deposit box. and 1 or 2 years from now, you will keep having your $5,000. We have to spend a lot of money to get all this equipment together, but makes me feel I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not a question of money, it's my passion.
Jewelers on time, simply the best.
Okay, and the next question is, can you get rich out of things like Amway or multi-level marketing schemes? You've been an accountant in practice for how long? You had your own business, 30 years?
30, 40 years, yeah.
Do you think yourself you can get rich in Amway or multi-level marketing from your experience?
Well, I used to have a lot of Amway dealers and people in
Distributors, the term is.
But I could say not one has made money, a lot of money at Amway, and not one has spoken well of making money in the area. However, the only positive thing, they do have good talks and marketing seminars where you can listen to people to gain confidence, and you can apply that to other areas. But getting rich out of Amway or multi-level marketing schemes, I think the answer is no.
So in your experience, 30 years in the business, doing business accountancy and tax returns, you haven't seen...
I haven't seen anybody make a lot of money out of that. Yeah.
And how many, okay, just so we can answer this, how many successful businesses have you seen in your time then, as an accountant?
Oh, a couple of hundred, I suppose. Certainly 10 have made millions of dollars, but a lot have done well. A couple of 100 or two have done, 200 perhaps have done reasonably well, earning 100,000, 200,000 a year.
But multi-level marketing and Amway and Herbalife?
Nobody.
Nobody?
No, you'd be lucky to make, the best I've seen is about 25,000 a year net earnings, and that's, the lady said to me, yes, I did very well, better than everybody else, but the number of hours I put into it, which is probably 80 hours a week, it wasn't commensurate with the reward. So it's not a really good prospect of making money. Amway's making money, but the people working for them aren't.
Okay, what's been you're a 65-year-old man, just in retirement. In your life, what's been your best investments, financially speaking?
Well, the best investments have been property. You buy a property, you hold it for 20 years, and you buy a property for $11,000, $10,000, and so many years later it's worth now $300,000, $400,000. It's time and sitting there, and inflation and just growth. So in my lifetime it's been property. Some people have done well in shares too, but the trouble is you can't, in the past it's been difficult to borrow to buy shares. Now it's a little bit easier, but then the risks are often a lot worse if you go into margin lending, which is very dangerous. So a property is the answer.
As far as your perspective goes, it's been your best investment property.
And if I was doing it for the future, I'd buy property. If you look at the Gold Coast at the moment, the property values in the Gold Coast have tumbled to very low levels. All right, there's reasons for it, and you can understand the reasons, but the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, if you research that property and had some financial strength behind you, I think in 10 years' time you'll make a fortune, because they're all half price. You can't build those properties for even half the value. Like if the property is selling for 300, it costs you 500, 600,000 to build the thing. So that's how far they've tumbled on the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast. So if you're able to buy something and hold, you should do very, very well. Brisbane's not too bad, relative value, but they're probably full price or almost full price. But the Gold Coast is not. It's been slashed.
And your worst financial investment?
Well, worst financial investment is some shares, some of the share investments. And I've had shares in Australia, I've shares in the UK. My worst share investment, Royal Bank of Scotland. Royal Bank of Scotland was one of the world's biggest banks, and £20,000 in shares fortunately, it's worth £1,000. It should have been worth zero because the bank did so badly and the British government had to bail out. But so that's probably the worst, 20,000 down to 1,000. Although there have been smaller companies I bought and it's gone from 10,000 to zero. And some of the gold companies and things like that. So shares, but then to balance that, some of the shares have done very well. So you have to take a balanced approach to what you do and where you stand.
Okay.
And Archie's old man, he started off as a bank teller with the Commonwealth Bank, and he then completed a economics degree to avoid compulsory conscription into that nasty Vietnam War. The only way to avoid the draft was to be a uni student. So Archie's old man undertook a economics degree, which helped with the career. He rose through the ranks, becoming an investigating accountant, investigating business loans for the Commonwealth Bank, and with the deregulation of the financial markets in the mid-80s in Australia, Archie's old man secured a lucrative, prestigious job with Chase NBA, Chase Manhattan Bank and National Australia Bank. They had a joint effort, which later became First National when the National Bank removed from the partnership. And this was a job as a merchant banker lending millions of dollars to super rich companies and rich fuckers. Archie's old man then, with the financial market and interest rates being at record levels, could see the fucking writing on the wall. You either sell loans or get your fucking ass out of the office, fuckers. So he went into practice for himself as a tax agent, accountant, and grew the business from being just a small tax return type business into a business when in his final year he had over $1 million in fees and approximately about 7 staff, fuckers. So there you go. This is how it's done. And this is Archie's Luxury's old man. He's seen many successful small to medium and large businesses. He's seen it all, and we're going to get the oracle in to get some financial advice, fuckers. Sit down, and take note, fuckers.